Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 7 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 7 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find the list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter rational number. Let's just start with the first lesson, that is convert between decimals and fractions or mixed numbers. Write 0.2 simplest form. So we need to write down 0.25 as a fraction. So first thing you need to do is write it in fraction point. So the right decimal after the decimal point we have two digits. So we can write it as 25 by 100, right? Now divide them by the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor is 25. So that is 1 over 425 divided by 25 is 1 and 100 by 25 is 4. So that is 1 over 4. So we can write 0.25 in simplest form as 1 by 4. Let's just start with the test questions. Write 0.25 as a fraction in simplest form. So first thing you need to do is we need to remove the decimal point. So that is after point we have two digits. So we can write it as 25, 1 for the decimal point and two zeros for the two digits. That is 25 by 25. Now divided by the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor is 25. So 25 divided by 25 is 1 and 100 divided by 25 is 4. So that is 1 over 4. The correct option is option number 1, that is 1 over 4. Write 0.75 as a fraction in simplest form. So how do we write it in the fraction? Right? The first thing is remove the decimal point. So we have two digits after the decimal point. So it would be 75 over 100. Two digits for the two zeros for the two digits after the decimal point. Got it? So now let's just divide them by the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor is 25. Let's just divide both of the numerator and denominator by the 25. So 75 divided by 25 is 3 and 100 over 25 is 4. So that is 3 over 4. The correct option is 3 by 4. Option number 1 is the correct option. 3 by 4 it is. Write 0.8 as a fraction in simplest form. So how do we write? It would be 8 over 10 because we have only one digit after the decimal point. So we need to divide it by the 2. The greatest common factor is 2. 8 over 2 times 4 is 8 and 2 times 5 is 10. That is 4 over 5. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 4 by 5. Option number 1 is the correct option. Write 0.7 as a fraction in simplest form. So we can write it as 7. Option number 1 is the correct option. 7 over 10 it is. 0.2, write 0.2 as a fraction form. So we can write it as 2 over 10. Write them by the greatest common factor, that is 2. So 1 over 5 it is. The correct option is 1 by 5. The correct option is 1 by 5. Option number 1 is the correct option. You can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is identify rational numbers. Okay, identify rational numbers. Is 9 a rational number? Yes, it is. Because we can write it as 9 in the form of a by b. So it is a rational number. Anything that can be written in the form, that is the definition of the rational number. Rational numbers can be written as a by b, where a and b are the integers and b is not a 0. So it would be, we can write 9 as 9 by 1. So that is a rational number. Let's just start with the test questions. Is 9 a rational number? That is, yes, it is a rational number. We can write 9 as 9 by 1. Is 7.644 a rational number? Yes, it is a rational number. Option number 1 is the correct option. Is 4 by 5 a rational number? Yes, it is because it is already written in the form of A by B. So it is a rational number. Is 9 by 7 a rational number? Yes, it is a rational number. Is 2.20 a rational number? Yes, it is a rational number. We can write it in the form A by B. So it is a rational number. Is negative 3 a rational number? Yes, it is. We can write it in the form negative 3 by 1. So it is a rational number. Is 0 a rational number? No, no, it is not. Mm? The 0 can be written as 0 by 1. Okay, well, maybe. Is 9 by 8 a rational number? Yes, it is. Is 8.533 a rational number? Yes, it is a rational number. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is absolute value of rational number. What is absolute value of 8 value, right? So the is its distance from 0 and absolute values are always the positive values. Let's just start with the test questions. What is the absolute value of 8.8? The absolute value of 8.8 is 8.8, that is already a positive number. So 8.8 it is. What is the absolute value of negative 5.4? That is 5.4. Option number 1 is the correct option. Absolute value of the negative numbers are positive values. What is the absolute value of 6 by 7? It is 6 by 7. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the absolute value of negative 5.9? That is 5.9. Option number 2 is the correct option. Absolute values are always the positive values. What is the absolute value of 7.6? The absolute value of 7.6 is 7.6. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the absolute value of negative 8.6? That is 8.6. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is absolute value of 4.1? That is 4.1. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the absolute value of 5 by 9? That is 5 by 9. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is the absolute value of 3 by 8? That is 3 by 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. What is absolute value of 7.9? That is 7.9. Option number one is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself. Compare which sign makes the statement true. Neg- Negative 9 is equal to negative 9. Let's just start with the test questions. Which sign makes the statement true? Negative 9 is 9. Option number 3 is the correct option. Which sign makes the statement true? 1 by 2 and 0.25. So whenever we are comparing something, they must be in the same form, right? Either in the fraction or either decimal. So let's just convert 1 by 2 in decimal. So we can write 1 by 2 as 0.5. So 0.5 is greater than 0.25. Option number 1 is the correct option. 0.5 is greater than 0.25. Option number 1 is the correct option. Negative 5 whole 1 by 4, and you need to compare it to negative 7 whole 1 by 2. Negative 5 is greater than negative 7, right? So greater it is. Negative 5 is greater than negative 7. negative 9 whole 3 by 10, and negative 9.9. Let's just convert it into fractional decimal form. Negative 9 whole 3 by 10. We can edit it as negative 9.3. So negative 9.3 is less than 9.9. Option number 2 is the correct option. Oh, negative 9 whole 3 by 10 is greater than negative 9 whole. Selected the greater. I selected the wrong. It is. 5 by 8, and you have to compare it to negative 4 whole 1 by 2. Negative numbers are always less than the positive numbers. So 5 by 8 is greater than negative 4 whole 1 by 2. Negative 7 over 8, and you have to compare it to negative 8. Negative 7 over 8 is less than negative 8. Sorry, greater it is. Because on the negative side, the smaller numbers are greater than the greater numbers because of the negative sign. That means as you are moving far from 0, the numbers are getting smaller and smaller. So that is greater. Which sign makes the statement true? 1 by 4 is less than 3. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 7 math. Chapter we were working on is rational numbers. The lessons we have covered today are convert fractions or mixed numbers, identify rational numbers, absolute value of rational numbers, and compare rational numbers. So please, before the next session, you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. Tutors are available there to help you, or either you can write them if you have any. So, any questions? No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye,